Mendes, how's it going, guys?
Hey, what's up, Chad? We're going to start with you. Well, we haven't even started the show yet. Welcome to UFC Unfiltered. How you doing, buddy?
Good. Who
Matt,
is this, Matt?
This is Jim Norton. No, Matt Serra is he's with Dana doing something. And we had a co-host named Bobby who canceled 40 minutes ago because he has an emergency dental appointment.
Oh, shit.
So as you call, we were just rewatching your fight with Conor, and we were in round 2, probably right. But that ended in the second round, correct?
Yeah, right at the end of it.
Yeah, I think we were very close to the end of that. And how long of a camp did you have before that fight?
10 days.
Okay, it was, and he was supposed to fight Aldo, and you got the call. And was that in Brazil or Vegas?
No, it was Vegas.
Okay, and did you just get tired? Was it because you didn't have a proper camp? Or was it his body kicks that were kind of that slowed you down a bit?
No, it was just not enough training.
Okay,
not a full camp.
Well, to me, that was the way that they said Conor hadn't really fought a wrestler. So watching you do that kind of, you know how they said if you saw the Iaquinta Khabib fight, it kind of exposed Khabib, not it just in a way that you know there are certain vulnerabilities, I guess, in his game, and I think that was what you did to Conor.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the wrestling part of Conor's game has always been his weakest, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I felt like I exposed that pretty well.
Yeah, sorry, Chad. Yeah, you were really kind of imposing your will on the ground. I mean, I think you had at least 4 takedowns in that fight, and you looked really great. I don't know how he got back up at the end of the second. I don't remember.
Well, I passed the guard and ended up trying to go for a choke instead of just like looking back. I was actually just talking to a buddy about it. I should have just stayed in the guard and kept elbowing him and just fought out the round. But I was trying to advance and trying to get a submission locked up and ended up turning into a scramble, and he got back up to his feet.
Okay, yeah, because you were having success dropping elbows on the floor. Was it that you were tired and you wanted to finish it, or did you just see an opportunity?
I just saw an opportunity. I felt like, I know his jits isn't something that's super great, and felt like if I got around his neck, I might be able to submit him in the fight, but ended up not going that way.
Yeah, no, I was still very impressed. I remember that fight. And I was rooting for you very hard. And again, everybody knew you had a very, very short camp and you were just stepping in. And I thought you did a really good job. And just maybe with a little bit more time to get the cardio, you would have. I think you could have won that fight easily.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
How you doing too? I mean, it's been, I guess, 2 years since you fought.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm doing good, man. I'm super excited to get back in there and compete. It's been chomping at the bit the last, probably year. And it's nice to finally get back in there and do this.
Now, when you're suspended for 2 years, this is one of the longer USADA suspensions. Why did they give you 2 years as opposed to a year?
Because I didn't fight it. I just told the UFC I wanted to take a year off and let my head heal. I mean, I had just lost to Conor and then got, barely touched by Frankie and rung my bell. I just wanted to step back and let my head heal a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then about halfway through that is when all that stuff came about. And, it was ultimately my own fault. I just didn't know what I was using in that cream on my psoriasis. And, I told them, like, look, this is what I was using. Like, I wasn't intentionally trying to cheat. But, I'll take my sentence. It is what it is. Like, I was going to take time off anyway. So ended up starting my company Pins and Feathers and getting that ball rolling, and the last 2 years just been enjoying life doing all that. So it was kind of a shitty situation. It was embarrassing, but like I said, ultimately it was my fault. So I felt like, you screwed up, you got to do the punishment. I'm not going to make up some stupid excuse and try to get out of it or cause a big scene like it was my own damn fault. So let's do it.
Now the medication, it's obviously, I guess I'm going to guess it's topical. You rub it onto it's not a pill or anything, right?
No, it's topical. I have psoriasis. I've had it since I was a little kid. Like my shins are completely covered in it. It's all over my scalp. I get it on my ears and elbows. So, I mean, it's just something I've dealt with my entire life. And, I've been given different creams and ointments and oils and different things from people that have had eczema or psoriasis. Like, oh, I got this stuff that works great for mine. You should try it.
Right.
And, I've never thought twice about something being in it that was illegal for a sport. Sometimes I would try it and, it might help a little bit. Sometimes it didn't do anything at all. And, it just kind of how things always played out. Like I never really paid that much attention to it, just kind of dealt with it. But, like I said, as soon as USADA got involved, it's my duty, my job to know what the hell I'm taking, what I'm putting in my body, and I didn't do the job. So it was my fault.
So the psoriasis is kind of when your skin gets flaky, right?
Yeah, so I have plaque psoriasis, so it's like a really, really thick layer of basically dead, dry skin, and itches like a mother. It, gets super red and irritated looking. Sometimes bleeds, like if you it cracks, it gets so dry. But yeah, my scalp is super flaky. I can't wear black because it looks like I got snowed on. Yeah, it's pretty fucking annoying, honestly. But
well, is it hard when you're fighting, if you're doing, especially if you're wrestling or doing jiu-jitsu, and you're on the ground and your shins or whatever are scraping against the mat? I mean, is it an obvious difference or more painful?
I mean, not so much painful, but like when I get the cracks and it starts bleeding and stuff, when you get sweat in it burns a little bit, but it's nothing. I mean, I'm used to kicking things with my shins, so that's not really anything that's too big of a deal. But more importantly, I got to worry about. I mean, it's sometimes open wounds, and I got to be careful of getting infections and nasty stuff like that. So it's just something I'm always having to think about as far as keeping clean and staying up on that. But it's just more annoying than anything. And you
got to rub it in your hair, right, and onto your scalp when it starts.
Mm-hmm.
How often does it act up, something like that? How often is it considered an outbreak, or how often does that shit happen?
No, I've had it since I was little, nonstop. It doesn't go away. It's there. So it's just like a big, thick patch of redness. Like I don't know, it's just there all the time. Sometimes it's worse than others. Like, if I drink caffeine or alcohol or anything like that, it gets way more dried out. It gets, I don't know, just basically what it is so everybody's body is like shedding skin all the time, but in those specific parts of your body is making so much skin so fast that it can't basically shed it fast enough, so it just layers on top of itself, and then it just becomes like a big patch of dead skin, basically. Pretty gross.
It's weird. It's funny that they just can't figure out a way to cure it. Have you found things that have worked, and all of a sudden, like, hey, this is going great for a while, and then it just stops working?
No, I mean, there's probably things I can do that would help it tremendously, but the thing that sucks is there's shots that I can get, but they're super hard on your liver and your kidneys. I mean, they're not. To me, I would rather deal with a skin issue than have a messed up liver.
Yeah, of course.
So I've never. And then there's certain pills that you can take, but they lower your immune system, which in this sport is just a no-go. Like I'm already breaking my body down training and working out so hard that my immune system's, jeopardized all the time anyway. So, I can't be getting sick throughout my training camp. So that's taken off the board. So, I mean, ultimately, other than, like coconut oils and more natural things that I try to stick to, which don't take it away. They just kind of help it not be so dry. But, I mean, there's not a ton of options, at least that I know of. I've gone to the dermatologist and tried to see if diet was anything I can change. And, I tried taking out dairy, and it helps. It helped, but still hasn't like gone away. So I don't know. There's people talk about there's wheat allergies that can kind of irritate it as well, but yeah, I'm not sure.
You just live with it. Yeah. And GHRP6, what exactly is that? Because that's what they found. That was in the cream. So then they test you and it pops, it gets you popped, and it's obviously in the cream that you put on your skin, so it soaks in. What exactly is GHRP6?
So I did a bunch of research after, because honestly, I had no fucking clue what that was before, and they told me this is what was in your system. I'm like, well, what is that? Like, where could that be found? And so immediately I started looking at all my supplements. Obviously nothing that I was taking had that in it. And so I started thinking about anything different that I had just started using, and that's when the cream came up. So I looked on the back, and of course, one of the ingredients on the list was that. So I started doing some research, and I guess basically what it's used for is it's a peptide that makes your body produce its own human growth hormone levels. And so when you have higher growth hormone levels, it's supposed to be like healthy for your hair, your skin, your nails. And so I'm taking it. That's why that stuff was in it. But I guess there's like bodybuilders use it as the reason why they call it a performance enhancer is like bodybuilders or different athletes will take it with other steroids, like actual anabolics, and it's supposed to like amplify it. And so, one of my arguments was, well, obviously I'm not doing that. None of that stuff is in my system. I'm not trying to like cheat, so, but it is what it is. That the 2 years was slapped on. I didn't fight it. So,
but isn't it weird? Like the bodybuilders would probably be taking it. They wouldn't be putting it on topically. They'd be taking it in pill form, right? And you could hand them this cream. This is what I've been taking. Like, so they could see that it's not the same way. You're not consuming it the same way.
Yeah. I mean, I would guess, and that's probably something that would have came out if I would have fought it.
Okay.
But, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's probably multiple ways to take it, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, didn't fight it, didn't even get to that point. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, you said you wanted to take a break, right? And what is the company you started? Because I had to ask you, how did you make money in 2 years? I mean, that's a long way to lay off without earnings. So what is this company you started?
So it's called Fins and Feathers, both fins and feathers spelled with a Z. And so basically what it is, so I'm a big outdoorsman. I love hunting. I love fishing. I love taking, people that have never done that out and like teaching them and like just seeing the joy on their face when they, catch their first fish or, harvest their first animal or whatever it is. But so I live off of, the wild game. Most of my training camps, a lot of the stuff, even outside of training camp, I'd say probably 85% of my diet is all wild game. And, so I've been doing it since I was a little kid. So I'm like, what can I do in the outdoor space that's unique, new, nobody's really doing it, and enjoy being with clients that love hunting, love fishing, and make money doing it. So me and a buddy, we'd been thinking about it for probably 2 or 3 years before this. And what we call it is like a celebrity outdoor adventure company. So we put together different hunting trips, different fishing trips. And then what we do is we have about 20 different celebrity pro staff members, different UFC fighters. We have a lot of baseball, basketball, football players, some actors, just different celebrities that people, see on TV or watch play different sports or whatever it is. And we put one of those celebrities or sometimes two of those celebrities on the trips with the client. So the clients not only get to go on a cool hunting adventure, maybe it's their first time, maybe it's not. They get to bring home some awesome organic free-range meat to fill their freezer with. And not only that, they get to do it with someone that they maybe look up to or, they see on TV. And everybody has a good time. All these people that are pro staff members love the outdoors. They love hunting, love fishing. And so everyone just has the same interest and love. So I don't know, it's just something that ended up coming together. We launched it in 2015 and, 2016 and 17 were really big years for us. So we didn't know how it was going to take off, but ended up booking out all of our trips both years. Yeah. And so it ended up being really cool, man. I got to travel all over the place, go on really cool hunting and fishing trips and got to meet a bunch of new people, which I consider friends now. A lot of them.
Who did you have come? Like, I'm sure you enjoyed all of them. But who did you have come that you're like, fuck, I can't believe we got this person?
Are you talking about like the celebrities?
Yeah, of course.
We just had Dan Henderson go on our big tuna fishing trip out of San Diego. That was pretty cool. I've always looked up to Dan.
Sure.
We got Hunter Strickland. He plays for the Giants. He's going to do some trips for us this year. We got guys like Uriah Faber. Faber's gone on some really cool trips with us. He did our tuna trip last year, and then he also went to Texas. We have a Texas helicopter. Basically, it's like a pig eradication trip. And so the pig population out in Texas is just out of control, like insane.
Really?
And so there's no way for these farmers to like keep the numbers down. They're just doing, millions of dollars worth of damage on these crops. And so, they try to poison them, but it poisons, the whole ecosystem basically. Other animals eat that meat, get poisoned. They try trapping them and, pigs are smart. They'll maybe get trapped. A group will get trapped, and after that, they kind of stay away from them.
Right.
So, there's not a lot to do, but, there's millions of them. And they pay these helicopter flyers to go up, and then you run the pigs out into open, and you basically just shoot them out of the helicopter.
Do people eat? Because I like the fact, like Rogan does these trips, and I've never hunted. I don't really necessarily like it, but I like guys who eat what they kill. Like, so if you're taking that meat home, or like Joe, fucking Rogan, I've actually jacked off looking at elk. Like, god damn, does that look delicious? You ever watch him cook elk with garlic? You're like, fuck, that looks delicious.
Oh yeah.
So like, natural healthy food is a smart way to eat.
Yeah, he always does the jalapenos in there too, and makes it look so good. I actually just had that the other day. We made some venison, and I had to throw some jalapenos on the plate with it. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" Like, don't even ask. It's something Joe Rogan does. I'm doing it.
Yeah, but it's like, if you're going to eat what you hunt, I think that's a really good thing. So you used these last 2 years to kind of make your living doing that, and now you're fighting again. You're fighting, your first fight back in 2 years against Miles Jury. It's on the main card. UFC Boise is this Saturday, July the 14th, 10 o'clock. It's Ivanov against Dos Santos, of course, and FS1. So are you in Boise now?
I am, yep. Yeah, we got in last night. We checked in. We went, got some groceries for the week, and then had our evening workout. So I'm just woke up this morning. I got media basically all day today, and just shooting. I actually got a YouTube channel that I've been pumping a lot of really cool content out leading up to the fight. So this whole week we're putting videos up. We did some last week as well. So it's really cool just being able to show the fans and stuff what my daily life's like, just leading up to the fight. So it's been fun.
Well, it's funny. We get guys like in New York or in Vegas, and if they're going to call in, they'll be a little late. You always know when someone's in a very a slow town because they call 5 minutes early. So you're in Boise. We got to call you 5 minutes early. Yeah. Like, there's nothing going on here.
Nothing at all. It's pretty calm out there, honestly. But, yep, just sitting in my hotel room waiting to do my media.
Are you concerned with Octagon Rust? I mean, or is that a thing? Some people say no, it's not, and some guys are like, yeah, but it's been 2 years. I mean, that's I'm sure you've trained, but that's a while to not fight.
Well, I'll tell you Sunday.
Oh, you're not sure? Okay.
I've never taken this long off for any sport, so I hear people talk about ring rust all the time. There's some people that are like, nah, it's not a real thing, and other people, say that it is. So, like I said, I've never been in this situation, so ultimately, I know what I can and can't do, and I this whole camp focused on what I can control, and that's my training. So, getting mentally right and being as mentally prepared as possible is something I've really focused on, as well as being physically prepared. So, I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life. Like I started implementing some new training into this camp, really focusing on heart rate and kind of implementing more science into it and just and using that stuff to really peak at the right time. So I feel like I'm right on track. My weight is great. I'm excited. I think that's a big factor. The fight game is something that's a very vicious sport, and if it's not something you're excited about, you're gonna have a rough night. So for me, being super excited about this and just anxious to get back in there and compete, I think it's going to be huge.
What do you think about the division? Has changed a little bit in the last couple of years. I mean, to say the least. Obviously with Ortega, Zabit Magomedsharipov, of course, Renato Moicano, Yair. Like, what do you think of the division now?
Yeah, I mean, I think
Choi.
Division's always been tough in my opinion. I mean, we've always had very tough guys all the way up from 10 all the way up to number 1, in my opinion. But, I think this is a perfect time for me to come back in. I think the difference from when I was fighting, 2 years ago to now is a lot of these featherweights are getting a lot taller. But other than that, I mean, I feel like the competition is still as tough as it was. And I feel like I match up great with a lot of these guys. So, I'm going to focus on Miles. This
Sure.
is a guy that is tough. I mean, he's fighting at 55, coming down to featherweight. He's fought here a few times. He actually just beat my teammate his last fight, Rick Glenn. And, so that in itself has been great for this training camp, being able to train with Glenn and use him as a training partner and just pick his brain on what he thought was a strength, what was a weakness for Jury, and just use that. So I think I'm right on point and I feel great, but all in all, the division it's it's right where I want it to be, I feel like.
And Rick Glenn, by the way, is fighting Dennis Bermudez on this card, which should also be a tremendous fight. Yeah, I think, considering your wrestling, I think you match up really well with guys like Zabit, Yair. I mean, you saw what happened with Frankie and Yair. I mean, a good wrestler to me always has a huge advantage over a striker, just because there's no way you're not going to get him down at least once.
Yeah. No, I agree. And, like I said, I think if I put together a solid game plan and I stick to it in the fight, I feel like I can beat any of these guys. So I'm excited, man.
Well, we're happy you're back, man. It's been way too long. I mean, look, you said you needed the rest. You wanted to take time anyway. And, hey, good for you using the time to build a company and to do something. Because a lot of guys do that shit after they retire, and then they try to go out and promote it. But you have you're 33 years old, man. You got years left in UFC, so you can at least build this brand while you're still actively fighting.
Yep. For sure, and that was kind of the idea behind it. I knew I wasn't going to be done fighting, so I said, I got some time. Maybe this is all a blessing in disguise. Let's get this up and running now, and then when I'm back fighting, it's only going to help grow it even faster. So that is the plan, and everything as far as that goes is sitting pretty right now. So we do have a couple trips if anyone's interested. If you're listening, you want to do some Fins and Feathers trips, hit us up on finsandfeathers.com. We do have a couple spots on some of these trips open left. So. And
Fins and Feathers both spelled with Z's. And before we let you go, just a quick question on obviously you Cody is a teammate. Have you been training with him, preparing for his rematch title fight with TJ?
Yeah, man, I train with Cody all the time. It's Cody's a stud, TJ's a stud. I'm actually buddies with both of them, and it's kind of an awkward situation for me. So I just try to stay out of the drama. I'm training with Cody. And like I said, he's an animal. He's looking great. And, I just wish them both the best, safe, healthy fight. And hopefully they both go out there and make a ton of money. So,
yeah, I mean, it's hard when you're friends. Like I'm not friends with fighters the way you are. Obviously, you train with them. But, I mean, it's hard when you like two guys to pick one over the other because you also, especially when they're evenly matched, it's like, who do I go with? Because I really like both of these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't pick. I train with Cody, so I'm there helping Cody, and and I see his progression and his ability to just be an animal. And I'm not training with TJ right now, so I don't see that. But I see videos online, and
sure,
I do like both guys. I actually work with TJ is one of our Fins and Feathers athletes, and Cody's a part of the team as well, and love both of them. And like I said, I just wish them both a healthy fight and a lot of money. So I just try to stay out of the drama.
No, I don't blame you. You have to. And Miles is ranked number 12. So let's just say you do beat Miles. You must have given some thought because you want to jump back into those rankings and you want to get back on people's radar again. As hey, you're back. Do you have any idea of who you may call out?
I don't. I mean, ultimately, there's some fights that are lined up, and it just depends who wins those fights. But honestly, anyone in the top 5 up would be ideal for me.
Okay. All right. Well, look, Chad, we're really happy you're back, man, and I'm glad you made the most of that time. And look, you're 33. You got plenty of years left. So good luck. Good luck this Saturday against Miles Jury. Okay.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Good talking to you.
Later.
Yeah, that was nice.